I broke these football matches down step by step and put together a strong parlay, selecting the most reliable options. We are also going to build a crazy parlay with juicy odds close to 9.1 from 2 events, so make sure to watch till the end. Alright, let's not waste a second. Let's get into it. First parlay, first event, Augsburg vs Hoffenheim. And here I found a very interesting pick, because at first glance it looks like a match between two teams in poor form, where you would expect cautious football. But if you dig deeper, everything have actually points toward goals and value on the away side. And I'll start with the most important thing, the betting logic, because that's the key here. Look, Augsburg at home are completely different team. They consistently create chances, their XG is almost equal to goal score, which means the attack is working, and even against strong opponents, they still find their moments. But the problem is their defense doesn't hold, especially against fast and aggressive teams. And the absence of Schlotterbeck is another minus that directly affects their stability. Now look at Hoffenheim, and this is where it gets interesting. Results suggest they are in crisis, but if you break down the games, it's not a collapse. It's just bad luck and poor finishing. Because in many matches they actually created more than their opponents, but failed to convert. And this is exactly the type of situation where the market starts to overreact to a downturn. At the same time, they have a clear pattern. They play open football, especially away from home, and that leads to high-scoring matches, with 4+ goals in 5 of their last 6 away games. And that's not random anymore. That's a system where they create chances and allow chances. Buddy, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post match analysis every day, and I always try to keep my subscribers in profit. I am also always open to fair criticism and your well-argued picks in the comments. I read everything. Thanks for the support, let's keep going. Now the most important part, how to translate this into bets. First point, Hoffenheim draw no bet looks very logical, because based on performance they are at least equal, if not better. They just lack results, and against an unstable Augsburg, this is a perfect chance to get at least a draw, if not a win. Second point, Hoffenheim team total, because Augsburg defense has issues, even top teams break them regularly, and Hoffenheim are a team that can create chances even away. So over 1.5 goals for them looks very solid considering both team style. And the third point, the wild parlay, because this clearly looks like an open match scenario where both teams score and Hoffenheim can edge it with their quality. So Hoffenheim win plus BTTS at 3.5 is a bet on the scenario, not just the result. So the overall picture is clear. This will not be a closed game, goals are almost inevitable, and Hoffenheim look underrated by the market, so the main pick is Hoffenheim draw no bet. With risk Hoffenheim over 1.5 goals, and for big odds, Hoffenheim win plus BTTS yes. Guys, here's my Telegram and my stats. I work as transparently and honestly as possible. I even pay taxes as an individual entrepreneur. I am one of the few in this space who actually works openly and fairly. The link is in the description below. First parlay, second event, Real Madrid vs Girona. And here I found a very interesting pick because everyone is looking at Real's crisis and thinking they might slip again. But if you dig deeper, a scenario appears where Los Blancos have to switch on and respond. I'll start with Real. The team is under serious pressure. 2 losses in a row, 7 points behind Barcelona, plus a bad Champions League result. For a club like this, that's already critical. There is no room left to step back. And historically, these are exactly the moment when Real turn it off, especially at home. At the Bernabeu, they are still a machine. 13 wins in 15 matches, 36 goals scored, and over 2 XG per game. That shows they consistently create chances even with all the problems. Another key point, against Girona, they have a clear pattern. At least 2 goals in 5 of the last 6 head-to-head matches. That's about star, because Real are comfortable against teams that don't sit deep. Now Girona, they are a tricky team that can grind results. They have already beaten Barcelona and shut down Villarreal. They score consistently, 15 goals and 15 away matches. But the key issue is away form. They are on a winless run, and against top teams they drop off. Plus 44 goals conceded this season. That's a very weak number going into a game at the Bernabeu. So the picture is simple. Real will push from the first minute because they need a response. Girona will get their moment, but their defense will not hold under pressure. so the hosts should score at least 2. Main pick, Real win plus over 1.5 goals. With the risk, Real over 1 goal in the first half. For the wild parlay, Real -1 handicap in the first half at 2.6. Second parlay first event, West Ham versus Wolverhampton. And here I found a very interesting pick, because at first glance it looks like a chaotic game between two bottom teams. But if you dig deeper, a very clear scenario appears where motivation and context decide. Everything. I'll start with West Ham. The team is in a critical situation, every point matters, and any mistake could realistically send them down. The cup exit against Leeds actually looks like a plus, because now they can fully focus on the league without extra workload. The schedule gives them a chance to pick up points, and these are exactly the matches they must win. At home, they are not hopeless. They have scored in 5 of the last 6 matches, create chances consistently, but finishing lets them down. Against teams like Wolves, they usually find their goals. Another important factor, revenge. They have already lost to Wolves twice this season, and that adds extra motivation. Now let's talk about Wolves. They have improved slightly. 9 points in 6 matches, but overall it doesn't change much. The gap is too big, and there is basically no real pressure. Wolves play open football, don't sit back, and have scored in 6 of their last 7 matches. And against West Ham, they have scored in 5 straight meetings. But their defense is weak spot. 1.7 goals conceded per game. Against a motivated side, that usually gets punished. So the picture is clear. West Ham will push forward, Wolves will not sit back, so there will be chances, but the hosts have the edge because of motivation and home advantage. At the same time, it's unlikely to be a blowout. So the main pick is 1x plus under 4.5 goals. With the risk, West Ham over 1.5 goals. For the wild parlay, West Ham over 2 goals at 2.7. Second parlay, second event, Roma versus Pisa. And here I found a very interesting pick because at first glance it looks like Roma are in a crisis and could struggle again, even against an underdog. But if you dig deeper, this is actually the perfect match for a reset. I'll start with Roma. Despite all the negativity, it's important to understand the context. The 2-5 loss to Inter looks painful, but that's a historically difficult opponent. And such matches are not the best indicator. What matters more is that Roma are strong at home. 10 points from 12 in their last Serie A matches. That shows they consistently perform at the Olympic. Another key factor is motivation. The league is their only realistic path to the Champions League, and the gap is just 4 points. These are exactly the matches they must win. Also, since Malone arrived, the team has become more productive. In 7 of their last 9 matches, the total went over 2.5. That's not random. It's a change in style with more aggression and attacking play. Now Pisa. It's even simpler here. The team is not Serie A level. Only 2 wins all season, the worst away side, and things have actually gotten worse under the new coach. 6 losses in 8 matches, and most importantly, 0 away goals under Heiber. That's the key point. Against a team that presses at home, you simply can't survive without an attack. Plus, they collapse against top teams. 9 goals conceded in their last 2 away matches without scoring. The difference in class is really huge. So the picture is very good. Roma will dominate possession, create chances, and control the game. Pisa will defend, but with their current form, they will not hold forward. Home advantage and motivation are full on Roma's side. The question isn't whether Roma will win, but how comfortably. So my main pick is over 2 total goals. With risk, Roma over 2 goals. For the wild parlay, Roma -2.5 handicap at 3.4. Hope you appreciated this detailed analysis and dropped a like on the video.